Labubu.
Labubus.
Labubus.
Labubus!
Labubu.
Labubu, the blind box toy that took over the internet this past holiday season and that continues to dominate. If you've been on TikTok the past few months, chances are you've seen one of these little guys, or girls, I should say. We'll get into that later. Like a lot of people, I have found myself incredibly charmed by them. But I understood why I was into them. I love toys, I love monsters, and I am an avid tchotchke connoisseur. But what I was really confused by was, why do other people love them so much? What do they see in them? Is Labubu hype purely fueled by K-pop madness? Or does Labubu actually represent something deeper for those that have found themselves charmed and infatuated by the little monsters? For those unfamiliar, Labubu was created by Hong Kong artist Ka Sing Long. Long was born in 1972 and moved to the Netherlands when he was just 7 years old. He found himself in a new country with a new language, and to facilitate his transition, his teachers would give him simple picture books with fairy tales and myths, written in simple Dutch so that he could learn the language. Long would find himself quickly infatuated with Nordic mythology and folklore. At the same time, his parents were running and living above a restaurant, and this led to long periods of time where Long would have to occupy himself. This would eventually lead way to his love of drawing and painting. The idea of elves and fairies living in secret among us was an idea that he clung on to, and his fascination with Nordic mythology would lead him to creating a tribe of characters known as the Monsters, which consisted of characters like Yaya, Spooky, Taikoko, Labubu, and Zmomo. And yes, there is actually a difference between those last two, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Blind box girlies, please put down the sniper rifles, please. Long would work as an illustrator and a painter for a number of years, even becoming the first Chinese illustrator to actually win the Belgium Illustration Award. In 2010, he would add toy designer to his resume as well, partnering with Hong Kong art collective How to Work. It was with How to Work that he would create the monsters in 2015 and would lay the groundwork for Labubu's world. So, with that out of the way, who are the monsters? Well, one of the things that makes Labubu so special is that the characters have their own stories and personalities that help inspire the toys. Labubu and her cohorts would appear in a trilogy of storybooks by Long that would help flesh out their personalities. And sure, you might not be able to tell that there's all this storytelling just by looking at the toys, but when there's intention behind a design based on the creator's thoughts and feelings about the character, it can really help bring a toy to life. Even if you might not know the story of the character, you can certainly sense that there's more to them than just being a cute design in a piece of plastic. And I think that's a big part of the success of the monsters. So, who are the monsters? Well, first off, there's the star of the hour, Labubu. Labubu is an elf, and while there are multiple Labubu elves, the main Labubu is the brown one that you commonly see in many of the Pop Mart animated shorts. All Labubu are girls, which is a fun play on the Smurfs of all things. For those that don't know, all Smurfs, with the exception of Smurfette, are boys. Long has cited the Smurfs as one of his inspirations, so it's fun seeing it come through this way. When talking about the evolution of Labubu, Long often mentions that in her conception, Labubu was a lot more mischievous and a bigger troublemaker. Over the years though, she's appeared to calm down but still likes to get into mischief every now and then. There are a number of past interviews where Long refers to Labubu as a boy as well, so I have to wonder if the idea of all of them being girls is a newer addition to the lore. If you have the answer to that, please let me know in the comments below. The Monsters project is very much constantly in flux, and it isn't really a setting and a cast with a hard set of rules to it like Lord of the Rings. We're not dealing with those types of elves.
I feel something. A slight tingle in my fingers.
Up next is Zmomo. Zmomo is a male, and no, you're not looking at Labubu again. Zmomo is the father of the Labubu and the chief of the monsters village. He's also significantly bigger than Labubu. While the size difference isn't always communicated through the toys, the easiest way to check is for a spiked tail. If there's a spiked tail, then that's Zmomo. If there's no tail, then that's a Labubu. So, like, how does Zmomo reproduce exactly? Does he, like, operate off of Gremlins rules? Next up is Momoko, who looks like Labubu, but is characterized by her pink fur and heart-shaped nose. I couldn't find much lore on her or her hierarchy in the monsters world, so once again, if you have any info on that, please let me know. Her name apparently means special in Elvish. Taikoko is the skeleton boyfriend of Labubu and is often at the receiving end of her pranks. Taikoko is oftentimes represented as shy and reserved compared to Labubu's excited and outgoing nature. He's also a vegetarian for some reason. I guess skeletons also have to eat? Other characters include Yaya, Spooky, Pedo, and Pippo. I think my favorite thing about the monsters is that despite how wildly different all the characters are in their aesthetics and species, they all feel like they belong together. There's a certain amount of cohesion in their contrast that helps make a believable world where something like Labubu can be called an elf, and sure, that furry, shark-toothed, bunny-eared elf can date a skeleton. Why not? In 2019, Lung would sign an exclusive deal with Pop Mart to release blind boxes of the monsters, including Labubu. Pop Mart is a chain of stores that specializes in blind boxes specifically. Pop Mart was founded by Wang Ning. According to Ning, he was inspired to start Pop Mart after being on a trip in Hong Kong where he was taken by the youth culture and the chains of stores that specialized in catering to it there. Ning would open the first Pop Mart store in 2010 in Beijing. Originally, Pop Mart sold a number of products, but quickly found itself running into inventory problems and staffing issues. So in 2014, Ning decided to take stock and refocus the company. By 2014, Pop Mart had enough sales data to see that toys were their biggest seller, so the decision was made to focus solely on toys. Ning also made the choice to switch over almost entirely to blind boxes, emulating to a certain degree the sensation of a gashapon toy or the thrill of ripping a pack of trading cards. Now, blind boxes aren't anything new. Ning did not make up that concept. After all, things like Sunny Angel and Smisky and thousands of the aforementioned gashapon machines had existed up until that point. But what Ning did that set his apart was partner with artists who made bespoke collections especially for him. By partnering with artists with unique styles, Pop Mart elevated itself from selling simple toys to selling art pieces. Some of these artists included Kenny Wong with his character Molly, Libby Frame with Peach Riot, Ian Deng with Demo, and many more. These highly curated collections and the excitement of not knowing what you would get with the blind box experience led to Pop Mart becoming a powerhouse, and now you can find stores or even vending machines in a bunch of countries around the world. But partnering with Pop Mart didn't mean instant success for Lung or for Labubu. In fact, if you look into stories from collectors or Pop Mart employees, the monsters' characters were kind of middling for a few years there. They weren't unpopular, but they certainly weren't the superstars that they are now. All of that changed in 2024.
Blackpink in your area?
In April 2024, Blackpink member and Pop Mart superfan Lisa posted with her Labubu on Instagram. Lisa likely just assumed she was posing with a simple toy that she liked and not much more. Seemingly overnight, what was once a relatively okay entry sales-wise in Pop Mart's catalog was launched into the stratosphere. In the months that followed, Labubu launches turned into full-on events with people queuing for hours, fights breaking out, and resale prices going for insane amounts. Seriously, I live in New York, and when Pop Mart NYC opened, my FYP was filled with people who were lining up at like 2 to 3 a.m. for a chance to get in when they opened. And TikTok is filled with even more stories of people getting online for Pop Mart drops at similar times, all for the chance of getting a Labubu toy. But why now? And why Labubu? Is it really as simple as Lisa has it, so I want it? Some may say yes, but I think that there's a deeper reason present. a reason that connects us as people, our need to stand out, but also our need to connect and to belong to something. First, let's look at the Labubu toys that blew up in popularity. After all, Pop Mart had the rights to Labubu and the monsters for a few years before Labubu got really popular, so why did it take this long? Well, Labubu toys up till this point were vinyl toys. Now, as a toy collector myself who mostly dabbles in things like action figures and a few vinyl toys, I can tell you that I don't ever really get to show these off in person. Unless I'm posting them online or having someone over, which, let's be real, who wants to come to a rundown video store in the middle of Brooklyn? Most of the time, my toys are bound by the walls of my home. But the Labubu toys that blew up were the plush ones with the key rings, specifically the exciting macaron and have a seat sets. Compared to the vinyl toys, which could either be inconvenient to carry around or prone to damaging, the Labubu plush were lightweight, probably more durable and easily clipped to a bag, jacket, or more. This made them easy to carry and easy to show off to others. And because of the various colors and expressions in any given collection, I think there's this sentiment of, this is my Labubu and it is different from all other Labubu, which has given way to a crazy amount of customization within the community. TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit are filled with people who have made full-on wardrobes for their little ladies. You can find everything from Hypebeast Labubu to Disney Princess Labubu if you search enough. This has led to the little elf almost becoming a canvas for their owner's style, interests, or other creative skills. People go to amazing lengths to make their Labubu stand out from others, to the point where styling your Labubu has almost become an art unto itself. I saw someone who gave theirs braces. Labubu has gotten to a point where it isn't just a toy, it's a community and a creative outlet for people. Now, I'm sure there are some of you writing this off because how could having a toy that everyone else has be creative? But I think in a world that almost strives to kill creativity at any turn, having something that serves as an almost approachable blank slate, a canvas to build upon, hell, a little friend to dress up and make your own, is something that feels special to a lot of people. And while yes, owning the same thing as everyone else can be seen as conforming or unoriginal or whatever other annoying adjective you want to throw at people, the fact is people are using Labubu as an outlet. Labubu is also kind of ugly cute in a way that like pugs are. She isn't a perfect character design a la something like Hello Kitty, but in that imperfection, maybe she also helps us accept ours. Something like Labubu creates a sense of belonging, a sense of community. It communicates to another person, hey, I am also your people. And in a time where a lot of us just had to spend years inside or are fighting for our lives either in school, dead-end jobs, or just navigating life, Labubu serves as a signifier of something kinder, more whimsical, more playful, and something happier that those that love it can all share in. She presents a common ground, a bridge, a way to form bonds, and through the customization of her, a way to celebrate what makes you different and unique within that community. Labubu may end up just being a fad, but I think her popularity right now represents a deeper need in a lot of us. We want to be part of something, we want to be creative and stand out, and we want to celebrate what makes us special but also the same. At the end of the day, we just want to be monsters. Or at least I would be if I had a Labubu. Someday. Hey, thanks for watching, folks. I know this video is super different, but I really wanted to set the tone early on that this channel can just be a place where I talk about all my interests, not just movies. So if you like this, please let me know in the comments, and if there are any other toys you want me to talk about, or anything else for that matter, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, bye!